Hey, guess what's happening on this week's episode of the Beating Diabetes Lifestyle Podcast with your friend and host, Oscar Camejo.
If you've been diagnosed with prediabetes, high blood pressure, type 2 diabetes, listen, I know it can be a challenge. So let me give you 50 simple, practical tips that will help you lower your blood sugar, lose weight, and feel in control again. These are not perfect tips. They definitely aren't. But these are real life tips that work when you're busy, even if you're tired, you're stressed, and you're just trying to make progress. We all want to make progress. I know the diagnosis is scary, so that's why I need you to listen and hear this part early on. The sooner you tackle this after a diagnosis of prediabetes or type 2 diabetes, high blood pressure, the better. Because listen, the longer you wait, the longer you keep putting it off, the more time those habits get to harden, and you don't want that to happen. You see, the more damage can be built over time, and we want to reverse these issues. And the harder it's going to feel to turn the whole ship around. So let's move forward. But when you take action early, especially with simple lifestyle changes, folks, you give your body the best shot at improving faster. Start early because small changes add up. Now, before we get into these tips, let me tell you why I'm a voice in this space. I'm not sharing these tips because I read them in a book all at one time. I collected these tips through my own experiences because guess what? I've lived it, and I've talked to so many people who've gone through the same thing. Like many, I've dealt with the confusion. I've dealt with the cravings. I've dealt with the late night eating and the inconsistency, the up and down numbers, and that feeling like you're trying to figure things out all by yourself. And it's so confusing. I had to learn a lot of this the hard way, but I want to make it easier for you. Man, I wish somebody had handed me this exact list when I first got diagnosed. And I wish I had taken things serious enough because it would have saved me a lot of time, money, and definitely a lot of headache. And honestly, I believe I would have reversed my condition even sooner if I had these tips at my disposal from the very beginning. You know, folks, I learned this the hard way, so you don't have to. Now, if you don't do all 50, that's okay. You just need to start somewhere. Start with 3 to 5 that fit your life right now, and then build momentum. It's not about perfection. It's about progress. So stick around to hear the rest of this episode. You don't want to miss it. Let's go. Be sure to visit the website at www.beatingdiabetieslifestyle.com for access to free resources and other information that will help you along your journey. If you would like to submit a question or a comment about the show or to learn more about the Beating Diabetes Lifestyle, you can always email me at hello@beatingdiabeteslifestyle.com. And if you haven't already, be sure to subscribe to this podcast. Welcome to the Beating Diabetes Lifestyle Podcast with me, your host, Oscar Camejo, helping diabetics make lifestyle changes to reverse type 2 diabetes. To all of my new listeners and my longtime listeners, thank you for tuning in again. I really appreciate you all around the world. If this episode helps you in any way, as always, do me a favor, like, share, and comment on this episode. Share with a friend, a family member, or anyone who needs some practical tips for living their best healthy life. Now, folks, today I'm going to walk you through these 50 lifestyle tips in 5 different categories. Number 1, nutrition, movement, monitoring, stress and sleep, and your daily habits. Remember, you don't have to do them all at once. Just scan the list and start by thinking, what can I do this week? So here's how we're going to do this. I'm going to move rather quickly, but I'm going to keep it real practical and simple. I'll read each tip, tell you the pain point it solves, and what outcome it can lead to. And I'll give you some short reminders along the way so you can actually use them in real life, because that's what it's all about. So you may want to grab a pen and paper, pause as I go through each tip, and you can write them down. So let's jump into category number 1. You know, there's a saying that you cannot out-exercise a poor diet. So we're going to focus on nutrition and your eating habits. Tip number 1, build your plate with half non-starchy vegetables, 1/4 lean protein, and 1/4 whole grains or starchy vegetables. This solves the confusion of what do I eat? and it helps to stabilize blood sugar portions. Now, tip number 2, cut sugary drinks like soda, juices, sweet teas, lemonades, and even energy drinks that are full in sugar. This addresses the hidden sugar spikes, and it can be one of those fastest ways to reduce glucose spikes and swings. Now, tip number 3, choose whole fruit instead of fruit juices, even 100% juice. This fixes the juice's healthy trap, and the fiber that you'll be eating from the whole food is going to help slow that sugar hit. Tip number 4, use the fiber first rule. I want you to start eating some vegetables, some beans perhaps, or even a salad before you eat starches, because that's going to help you to reduce those sugar spikes and the meal spikes right after you eat. That's going to help you to even feel full longer. Tip number 5, aim for mostly water all day and keep a refillable bottle with you. This, folks, I'm telling you, it will help you deal with those cravings, give you more energy, and it'll help you to stop from mistaking thirst for actual hunger. Now let's move on. Tip number 6. Now, when it comes to white carbs, I want you to start limiting white bread, white rice, and pastries when you can, and swap those with whole grains and beans. Tip number 6. Now, when it comes to carbs, I want you to really consider limiting eating white bread, white rice, and pastries when you can. Think about swapping those for whole grains or even beans. You know what this is going to do? Is going to help you to reduce those sharp spikes, and is going to definitely help you to support cholesterol and your digestion. Okay, so here's tip number 7. When it comes to breakfast, let's keep it simple and keep it plain. Plan simple diabetes breakfast like a smoothie that you make at home. Or what about some eggs with vegetables, Greek yogurt with nuts if you don't have any allergies? Or how about oatmeal with not that much sweetener in it? You don't have to add sugar to your oatmeal. This is going to help you to prevent the all-day struggle that starts early on when you eat a lot of high carbs for breakfast. Tip number 8, this is where we start prioritizing vegetables and protein. Eat protein and veggies first, then your carbs last when you can. This is going to help you to slow that glucose rise and helps you to stay satisfied a lot longer. Tip number 9, why not meal prep? Batch cook 1 or 2 healthy meals on the weekends. This is going to help reduce the fast food decisions during those stressful weeknights, and it's going to help you to remain consistent. And guess what? It's going to help you to save a lot of money too. Okay, tip number 10. Keep yourself some grab-and-go snacks like healthy nuts, some cheese sticks, or hummus with some veggies. This is going to help replace chips and candy, and it's going to help you to avoid those sugar spikes in between meals. Now we're going to go into our next category, talking about movement and weight. So tip number 11. Early on, I learned the importance of losing weight to improve my health. Not just to reverse prediabetes and type 2 diabetes, but just losing that extra fat, the extra belly fat, fellas, it made a big difference. So that's why I want you to aim to lose even 5 to 10% of your current body weight if you have extra weight. This stops the overwhelm, and even that small drop can improve your insulin sensitivity and insulin resistance. Tip number 12. Start with 10-minute walks after your meals, especially after your largest meal. Whether that's lunch or dinner, 10-minute walks are going to be a game changer. This is for people who feel intimidated by the gym, and it's going to help lower that post-meal glucose spike. Tip number 13, build up to at least 150 minutes per week of moderate activity spread across at least 3 days. This answers how much exercise matters, and is actually going to help support your long-term control of your glucose and even your heart health. Now, tip number 14, add 2 days a week of simple strength training like squats, wall push-ups, or even resistance bands. You don't have to become a bodybuilder to improve your health, but you do need to understand that building muscle is very important. This helps to fight muscle loss and slow metabolism, and more muscle improves glucose control. Now, tip number 15, a lot of us, we sit down too long. That's why it's important to break up sitting time by standing or walking a few minutes every 30 minutes to 60 minutes, especially if you're at work all day and you're sitting down or you're watching TV a lot. Listen, this is going to help reduce insulin resistance throughout the day. And you're going to start seeing your blood sugar numbers improve incrementally if you're eating right and moving more efficiently. And start with standing every 30 to 60 minutes. Tip 16. Hey, let's get our steps in. It's time to set some small, trackable step goals like adding 1,000 steps to your current baseline. If you don't have a current baseline, you know that number 10,000, that's something to try to push towards, but you need to do it in small incremental steps. So whatever you're doing now, just simply add 1,000 to that and keep stacking up on that. Tip 17, combine exercise with something enjoyable like music, maybe a podcast. I know sometimes you're on the phone a lot, but sometimes it's important to keep our mind dialed in and focused. You know, this is going to help you to address your boredom when you're trying to work out or get your steps in. And the goal is to build consistency and make consistency automatic. So now, tip 18, choose one active social activity each week, like a walk with a friend, a bike ride, or even dancing for those of you all who like dance classes, line dancing too. This is going to help you when your social life revolves around food and it makes movement more sustainable. Tip number 19, work with your provider, your healthcare provider, on a tailored exercise plan if you have joint pain, heart issues, or some other complications. This reduces fear and is going to help you to move safely without setbacks. You want to do things smart, folks, and sometimes we need a little bit of help. Tip number 20. I know a lot of y'all look at the scale, but I want you to focus on celebrating some non-scale victories. So when that scale doesn't move like you want it to, still celebrate. Celebrate that you have more energy, you have better sleep, and you're sleeping better, your moods are better, or even needing less medication. Because when my doctor started weaning me off medication, I started celebrating that. That's going to help keep you from quitting when the scale moves really slowly. Okay, here's tip 21. Learn your diabetes ABCs, like your A1C, your blood pressure, and cholesterol. When you have clear targets, you're going to have clear direction. Tip 22, keeping a simple log is very important. Check your blood sugar as recommended and keep a real simple log of the food you're eating, the activities you're doing, and things that you're reading on a regular basis. This is going to remove the mystery about type 2 diabetes, prediabetes, high cholesterol. When I started paying attention to what was going on by keeping a log and tracking, it was a game changer for me. So check your blood sugar as recommended and keep a simple log of your food, your activities, and things that you're learning through reading. This is going to help remove the mystery and help you to identify your personal triggers. Now, tip 23, when you go to your appointments, bring your log with you. Bring your notes with you and ask some specific questions like, for example, why are my mornings so high? Talking about your blood sugar numbers and so forth. This is going to help prevent some vague visits and is actually going to lead to more targeted adjustments because you'll let your provider know, or your healthcare provider know, hey, this is what I've been eating, this is what I've been doing, and they can make some recommendations. Tip 24. Now, let me say this. I'm not a medical practitioner. I'm not a doctor, but take your medications exactly as prescribed and ask before stopping or changing any doses on your own. You want to be smart. This helps to avoid dangerous swings and keeps you safe while you improve your health. And allow your provider to give you some suggestions on what to do next as you progress. But don't be afraid to ask about your medications. Ask about how long you have to be on those medications. So keep that in mind. Now, tip 25, we're halfway there. Ask your doctor about diabetes self-management, education, and support. These are some resources that you can find online, or you can even go somewhere to get some diabetes education. This solves the thing about, oh, I'm doing this all alone and I don't know what to do. You know, the more advice you can get, the more practical education you get, the better. Tip 26, schedule your regular A1C checks and your annual screenings for your eyes, kidneys, and your feet. This is going to help catch those silent complications early on. Tip 27, ask your provider if you're a candidate for structured lifestyle programs if you have prediabetes, for example. This raises your chances of returning to normal glucose and avoiding type 2 diabetes. Tip 28, discuss major diet changes like fasting or intense exercise with your provider first. This protects you from dangerous lows, especially when you are taking certain medications. Tip 29, keep a current medications list, including your supplements and over-the-counter items. This is going to help prevent interactions and confusion across different providers. So just keep that in mind. Tip 30, have a written plan on those sick days. Like, what are you going to do when you're not feeling well? It keeps you stable during illness, and it helps you to know exactly what to do and who to call for help. Now we're moving into another segment where we start talking about stress, sleep, and the mindset. Tip 31, aim for 7 to 9 hours of consistent sleep a night. You know, folks, better sleep helps to reduce cravings and improves your insulin sensitivity. And you're going to start seeing your blood sugar numbers improve simply by getting better rest and sleep. Tip 32, sometimes we get so busy and at night we just want to relax in front of the television or on our phones. But this is where we need to make a shift. Create a simple wind down routine like dimming your lights, no screen time, about 30 minutes before going to bed, relax and just chill and wind down. This is definitely going to help you to improve your sleep quality and helps to support your glucose numbers. So tip 33, relieving stress, folks, is very important to improving your overall health, not just your physical, but your mental. Why not practice some daily stress release habits like deep breathing, prayer, meditation, or even a quiet walk? I love walks. I love hikes. This is going to help lower your stress hormones and push your blood sugar numbers in the right direction. Tip 34, when it comes to comfort food and emotional eating, it's time to start noticing what those triggers are and swap those with better responses. Like call a friend, write yourself a note in your journal, take a walk instead of snacking automatically. Focus on those triggers. Tip number 35. Man, I wish I had these when I was starting off with my journey. So tip 35, set realistic small goals instead of doing these all or nothing plans. You know, small wins can build big confidence and create momentum. Tip 36, I want you to focus on progress, not perfection, especially when your numbers and your weight are off on any given day. That mindset is going to help keep you from quitting. Tip 37, accountability is very important. Involve at least one healthy buddy who can help check on you each week. Maybe you guys are doing this together because you know what? Support and accountability can make change even easier. You know, they say two heads are better than one. Tip 38, sometimes we have to reward ourselves. So why don't you schedule some non-food rewards for meeting your health goals? You know, this is going to help reinforce your habits without using food as a reward. Don't think, oh, I went and walked a mile so I can go and eat whatever I want on this cheat day. No, let's be smart. Tip 39. This was a game changer for me. Learn basic diabetes concepts from reputable sources. You know, knowledge is important. And so knowledge is going to help you to filter out misinformation because not everything you see on the internet is valid. So tip 40, we're almost done. Man, I can't tell you the importance of having a support group. Why not join a support group that focuses on type 2 diabetes or pre-diabetes? You know, community helps you to stay encouraged and consistent. And by the way, I have a Facebook support group that you may want to join. So check out some information below. So tip 41, you know, there's a saying, out of sight, out of mind. Keep tempting high sugar foods and refined carb foods out of the house or out of sight. You know, the less temptation you have that's within reach, the better. It's not about willpower because you know what? A lot of times you may lose the willpower battle. So out of sight, out of mind. Clean house, get rid of that stuff immediately. Tip 42, prep a diabetes-friendly emergency kit for your car or your gym bag or whatever you take to work. This is going to help those fast food emergencies when you get unexpectedly hungry. I know you see the fast food place and you just want to stop, but imagine having a diabetes-friendly kit with some food, some snacks, and water with you in your car. It'll help kind of give you an option, an off-ramp, if you will. Tip 43, decide your go-to healthier restaurant order ahead of time. I know you have your favorite things that you like to buy, but think healthy options ahead of time because you know what? Planning beats impulse. Tip 44, I'm not an alcohol drinker, but I know there's some that do drink alcohol. So let me say this real quick. Limit alcohol and avoid drinking on an empty stomach. Discuss some safer limits with your healthcare provider, and I guarantee you will be surprised what you'll learn about alcohol and type 2 diabetes and other conditions. So tip 45. Yes, 5 more to go. Quit smoking. If you do smoke, make a plan and get some support to quit. This is going to help lower your risk of major complications being developed later on. Tip 46. So when it comes to dental hygiene, keep regular dental checkups and good oral hygiene. Oral health matters when it comes to diabetes and other conditions. So tip 47, you need to check on those feet. Do regular foot checks for cuts, some blisters, or changes in the sensation. Early detection helps prevent some serious foot issues later on. I know some people who did not take this advice and they suffered the consequences, and I don't want that to be an issue with you. I'm talking about amputations of limbs and so forth. You don't want to have to go down that road. So tip 48, I want you to link your habits together. Check your glucose before breakfast, walk after dinner. You know what I'm saying? All this self-care, make it automatic. Tip 49, use simple technology tools that you're comfortable with. Reminders and even trackers that's going to help you to build consistency. I can't tell you how important it was for me when I started getting a fitness tracker. See, I actually have two, and started downloading certain health apps. It helped to really help me to dial in what was happening with my body and the progress that I was making. All right, here we are at tip number 50, review, review, review. As you're making these progresses and you're making these changes and adjustments, I want you to revisit your plan every few months with your healthcare team. As you improve, your plan should be improving as well. Remember, it's not about perfection. It's about progress. So that was 50 tips, but you don't need all 50 all at once. Pick 3 tips that match your lifestyle right now, write them down, and commit to them for the next 7 days. Remember, start small, but make incremental improvements and adjust along the way. Folks, I want you to visit my website at beatingdiabetieslifestyle.com for some more resources. I want you to subscribe to my YouTube channel, drop a comment, and tell me which tip you're working on and which ones are meaning the most to you and which ones you're starting this week. I would like your feedback. So for now, and as always, stay focused, keep moving, never go back, leap forward, bounce back because you can, my friend. And above all else, trust God. You got this. I believe in you.
Hi, everyone. Thank you for tuning in to the Beating Diabetes Lifestyle Podcast with Oscar Camejo. We hope you enjoyed this episode. As a reminder, this podcast is intended for motivational and educational purposes only. It is not a substitute for professional care by a physician or other healthcare professional or qualified fitness instructor. This podcast is provided on the understanding that it does not constitute medical or professional advice or services. If you're looking for help on your journey, seek a qualified medical practitioner. It's important that you utilize someone who is a trained, licensed healthcare professional who can help you on your journey toward good health.